the trade deadline has come and gone, and the Rangers did nothing. The only moves they made were trade for Logan O'Hoppe and Chase Silseth, and they traded away Josh Smith. I think both of us really find it pathetic, to be honest, and embarrassing for this team that just seems very directionless. And we're going to go through this whole trade deadline chronologically. So, yeah, let's get into it. Starting off, so Wednesday last week, the Rangers traded for Logan O'Hoppe and Chase Silseth. We both liked the move, and we made a video already explaining that trade. So if you want to know more about that, you can go and check that out. But we both like that move. Nice, you get some catching depth. You get a reliever that could be really nasty for you. Yeah, really, and you have them both for a lot more years. So I think that move was really great, and it was a nice start to this deadline. And then the Rangers start to go on this long losing streak, and that's when we start to hear more things that the Rangers might end up selling, and it might be a big sell. And the Rangers keep losing to the point where we wake up Monday morning, the day of the deadline, and like everyone's on the table. DeGrom, Eovaldi, Seager, all these guys are all on the table, and I'm getting ready to do videos like, man, it's going to hurt, but this is the right thing to do. Like, again, when we see news that the Rangers are going to be selling, like, I think me and you both got kind of excited. Not that the Rangers selling is like, exciting for this year, but at least this team is going to change things up and have some sort of direction for years coming. Because that's the issue with this team all in all, is that Rangers fans don't know what to think because it's just so directionless. And the idea of them selling off pieces is actually something that gives this team a sense of direction. Now, so yeah, Monday morning we see everything, okay, the Rangers are going to sell all the stuff. And then we get to, I think, 11:30 on Monday. Chris Martin gets DFA'd about time. He's been horrible. Skip Schumacher kept putting him in high leverage spots. Yeah, should have been done a long time ago. What a bad signing that was. Josh Smith gets traded to the Blue Jays. It was Josh Smith and Josh Steffen to the Blue Jays for Adam Macko. Adam Macko, lefty reliever, doesn't have a whole lot of time in in the major leagues. So, we'll see what the Rangers can get out of him. But, Josh Smith won the everyday second baseman job this year, and I thought he deserved it for how good he was against righties. And then really struggled offensively and defensively, and then had to go to the hospital for meningitis, which is just really, really rough for him. And I'm sure he's had to, do some internal battles with himself throughout this whole year. And then I did think the Rangers misused him. Like, I feel like he had like 2 or 3 stints in the major leagues again when he shouldn't have been back up. I think he should have been in the minors trying to build back his strength fully. Because in the minors, he really wasn't hitting well in the minors either. He only had like a 700 OPS in the minors. So I really think that Josh Smith was misused up here. And I hope that on the Blue Jays, he's going to thrive. I think he fits that team really well. And then, after that, we see Ken Rosenthal put out a report that Jacob deGrom invoked his no-trade clause for the Rangers to trade him. Basically, a lot of teams are interested in DeGrom. Rangers went up to DeGrom saying, yo, you want to waive your no-trade clause? And he said no. And with that, I don't think Rangers fans should have a problem with it. Obviously, if he took that no-trade clause, it would have been pretty helpful in the Rangers trying to sell. But, yeah, you have to remember DeGrom's human. And he did say after he invoked the no trade clause, saying that I want to stay here because I want to win and all that stuff. I think it is true, but all in all, I think it's mostly DeGrom just didn't want to move. He has a family. He's set here, so yeah, I don't think Rangers fans should get mad at DeGrom because he is human and he has a life outside of baseball. I guess baseball, but also has a family and stuff, So we get the DeGrom news and nothing else happens. And wow, like when nothing else happens, man, I've been talking for 5 minutes straight. I'll let you go. Like, what was your reaction? Because we got news that DeGrom invoked his no trade clause, and then after that, we just heard nothing.
Yeah, I after the Grom no trade costing, I was like, okay, so they're in full rebuild mode where we're getting rid of our core and we're starting again. And I was like, okay, so the rentals are all gone. I was like, okay, so Peterson's probably gonna get sold, and Lopez, you can get some things out of Peterson and Lopez. I thought maybe Diaz. Um, I was hopeful for Berger being traded, but it didn't happen. But yeah, I was thinking like we were gonna have a full sell here where we keep like Seager, which we keep like Seager, and then that's pretty much it. I think everyone else was on the table, um, and I was hoping we were getting like a full rebuild, and then hopefully some of these AAA guys can get some run and see how they perform at the big league level. But then they did nothing, and it's kind of like I'm fine if you sell. I'm fine if you soft buy, soft sell. If CY did what he did last year and soft buy, then I would have been fine with it. Two relievers and a starter, I would have taken that any day. But you did nothing. You didn't. You didn't gain any favors for the future. You didn't get anything for the future. You didn't get anything to help you now. Your big move for the offseason was getting Chase Silseth, and that is it.
Yeah, trade deadline was Chase Silseth.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you did
Yeah.
in the trade deadline. That was your big move, and yeah, you did nothing. You didn't help your team. You didn't get better. You didn't get anything in return. You didn't get anything to make you better in the future. And you had these rentals that Peterson's gone next year. You're not. You know for a damn fact you are not re-signing Peterson. You don't have the money to re-sign Peterson. So why would you not just trade him, get some things back? And even if you trade Peterson, there's still a chance you make the playoffs, man. The AL, specifically the AL West, is very bad. You have a chance to make the playoffs either way. So why would you not trade Peterson, get stuff for the future? You still stay competitive because now you got Seager back. And I think this team is really like completely crumbled now because Young's gone. I think this team is done. The breaking point was when Josh Young got injured. That was the breaking point. So I think that the season's done. You know you can't really supply much without Young. So you need to just sell and just rebuild.
Yeah, I agree with most you're saying. Obviously, you said like everyone would be on the table. I don't think everyone was on the table. I think it was so. Here's what I think happened. Right, I think they went on that losing streak, and based on Chris Young's, or sorry, Ken Rosenthal's reports, it feels like Ray Davis wanted to cut payroll. Ray Davis wanted Chris Young to try and trade Corey Seager, Jacob DeGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, and or in order to cut payroll. So that was not a Chris Young thing. I mean, it is a messed up thing that ownership wants the Rangers to be cutting payroll at this time. That's one thing. But then I also have problems with Chris Young at this deadline. And look, the Rangers tried to trade DeGrom and Eovaldi. They both had full no trade clauses. Chris Young couldn't get it done. That's fine. But it's also clear the Rangers couldn't make any adds to this team because of those payroll constraints, right? With the payroll constraints that the ownership put on Chris Young, they couldn't make any adds, which again is also messed up, and the ownership deserves some blame, I think. But with Chris Young, I think the ownership deserves some blame in why the Rangers haven't gotten back to the playoffs, for sure. But then Chris Young also deserves some blame because, like, he's the reason this team is just so directionless, I feel like. And that bugs me out more than not making the playoffs is, like, I don't know the direction of this team. And, like, you're 2 games under 500, going into this deadline. You're a team that's flawed, and you're not going to add any pieces, then trade all your rentals. Like, do what the Blue Jays, the Orioles, the Tigers did. They all sold their rentals at the deadline, gained some pieces back. They're going to let their young core play and see who they have so that they're set up well for next year. And then they still have their core to where they can possibly make the playoffs this year with how wide open the AL is. That's what I thought the Rangers would do. Trade off their rentals. You trade off Peterson. Lopez, Elias Diaz, Cal Quantrill. Like, these are all quality players that have value. Like, teams would take them. You can let some of these young guys play. Alejandro Ozuna, Cam Cauley, Logan O'Hoppe coming up. By the way, Logan O'Hoppe should be out. Boston wins, get out of here. Jordan Montgomery and Cody Bradford are going to come back. You know what I'm saying? So you could have traded the rentals, let these young guys play, and again, this team is directionless. Like, I don't know where Chris Young's plan is. And like 2028, they're going to be worse than the Angels. Like, that's what, like, my first reaction after this deadline, like, they're going to be worse than the Angels in 2028 because they just have no direction. And look, Evaldi and DeGrom having full no trade clauses, that stifled the Rangers a little bit. But Chris Young has to be able to, it was reported that Chris Young's prepared to take all different kinds of avenues. Like, you got to be prepared for DeGrom and Evaldi to not take the full no trade clauses. You got to be prepared for that. Bare minimum, you trade the rentals. If you can't add to the team, trade the rentals. Like, do what the Tigers and the Blue Jays and the Orioles did without completely blowing up your team. Trade the rentals, set yourself up for the future, and we move from there. Like, I think ownership obviously put Chris Young in a stifle here where he couldn't add, and then Chris Young just completely pissed himself here. Like, he said the best thing that the Rangers did at this deadline was say no to things. Like, what does that even mean? Saying no to things? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that even freaking mean, bruh? And look, they had rentals. Peterson, Lopez, Diaz, Quantrill should have been traded, and you get something back, and you keep it moving, and you let some of these younger guys play to see if you have anything in them. I just don't get this trade deadline. The organization's a mess. Directionless from Chris Young, and we even got an embarrassing loss last night. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna win. We want to win," and then they just put up a 5-error game. Was it 5 errors or 6 errors, something like that? Yeah, just a crazy bad trade deadline for the Rangers. It gets me an F. It's an F for me. Like, you can't do nothing. Like, for me, if you are not the Dodgers and you do nothing, you get an F. At F grade for this deadline. Like, you can't do nothing. It's a team that's clearly flawed. It's under 500. Sell. If you can't add, then sell. Like, I don't even know, man. You got anything else on this trade deadline? I think I've ranted enough.
Yeah, you pretty much said everything.
Oh, man. I think the Rangers need a win just so we can... I think the Rangers just need to win one game and then everything's gone. That's what it is for me. If the Rangers just win a game, all this trade deadline stuff can go away, and I hope it does. Luckily, on Thursday, they get a day off. They also need a day off desperately, this team does.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Really tough deadline for the Rangers, and this team is in a real funk. I think they're on a L6 now, 2.5 games back in the division still. But we're going to keep it moving, keep giving you guys videos, and we'll see you in a bit.